Welcome to the Reese Report. I'm the mouth of the North, Andrew Reese, and we are back for what I like to call Reecentral. That's right, because it's NHL trade time, boys. And instead of waiting till the deadline, all these teams just decided to heck with it. We're going to do it this week because we've had, I think, about 20 trades in the last 2 days. And we are going to talk about 10 of them. As always, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. We really like the response we got to last week's topic, which was the most skilled NHL player in history. We really missed Gil on that one because I would have loved to have heard his response and what he had to say about that. But Barbosa had some fun and got some nice responses. So he's already shaking his head, Gil.
Oh, shut down the podcast. Alexei Kovalev. Oh my God.
Gil, do you want to give us a quick take on who you think is the most skilled player in history?
Oh, there's a lot of great players, man. Hands wise, Lemieux was very good with his hands. Dasuk very quick with his
Yeah,
hands. Pavel Bure very quick too on those breakaways. You
yeah.
know, like I'd probably say Lemieux.
Yeah. All three of us said Lemieux after Barbosa said Kovalev. It was a fun show. We had a lot of views and a lot of comments. So please, guys, give us all your feedback on what you think of these trades after we comment on them. Tony Barbosa and Gil Santos are with us this week. Jose Carlos Gomes, I believe, has fallen asleep. And so it's just the three of us. But let's go and talk about these trades. We're going to go in order here because all these trades happened within the week after we did our show. So we'll start with the Bruins, who traded for Dmitry Orlov and Garnet Hathaway in a three-team trade. They basically gave up a prospect, Craig Smith, the first-round pick, and a third-round pick, along with second-round pick in the 2025 draft. This was in response to the Ryan O'Reilly trade that the Leafs made. Boston beefed up their defense. Orlov had a great game the other day with 2 goals and an assist, so this has already worked out good for Boston. The rich get richer, Tony.
Yeah. I didn't even know Orlov was available. I believe he got available because Washington couldn't re-sign him.
Correct.
I
He
think
turned
he's
down
an
an
unrestricted free
extension.
agent.
Yeah,
So
he
I
turned
think
down an extension.
yeah, but I believe they really wanted the what's the other guy that they got? The
Hathaway?
yeah, that's what they wanted. And I guess Orlov got kind of I guess they must have talked about Orlov being
Yeah.
involved. So it was a good trade for Boston. What can you
Yeah.
say? They're the best team in the NHL. They just got a little bit better.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good trade for Boston. What can you say? And
Yeah.
I'm sure they've seen what the Leafs did, so they moved them. They had to make a move.
Yeah. Boston got deeper and a lot better. Gil, what do you think of this move?
Listen, you guys have this thing of the Leafs, buddy. Boston did not do nothing on the Leafs. The Leafs are well behind Boston. Boston did this for tougher teams, not because
Yep.
of the Leafs. Orlov, this is just to give him a playoff run. It has nothing to do with the Leafs, Tony. Boston's not scared of the Leafs. You guys keep talking about the Leafs. The Leafs should be scared shitless of Boston because Boston kicks their ass all the time. Okay, so
It's
if
true
anything,
that Boston's not
the
afraid.
Leaf, if anything, the Leafs should retaliate to whatever Boston's doing to see if they could beat them.
Oh, we'll
We'll
get it. We'll
get to
get
that.
into it.
We'll get to that. Yes, we will get to
Anyways,
that.
they beefed up. Orlov's a great pickup for that Bruins team, makes them even tougher than they are. And Toronto, Ryle Riley, to me, that them picking them up, it sounds good, but they picked him up past his prime. He's just like a third liner in there, just hopefully just to help out the team. Is he going to make a difference? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. I don't think Riley will be a factor on the Toronto team. I think it's going to be up to the big boys to get it done, the Matties, the Nylanders, and the Marners. And
Obviously, the big boys have to get it
and
done. That
That's
and
that's
true.
what
because
that's
to
without a
me,
doubt.
what the Leafs need to get out of that division to beat the Bostons, the Rangers, and yes,
Tampa
my New
Bay.
Jersey Devils and the
Yeah.
Tampa Bays and the Carolinas
Yep.
was the number one defenseman, which once again they failed to go get.
Correct. Correct.
So
We'll get to that though.
that's the way I feel on that Boston trade for now.
Okay, let's get to Gil. who made a great trade for his team. Gil's Devils are on a very surprising run. Even to Gil, he's surprised. They've got no-name goalies playing great. They've got Dougie Hamilton's having an all-star season after struggling last year with injuries. They've got all their young players playing great. Jack Hughes has turned into a superstar, and they decided to add Timo Meier from the Sharks, who is a 35 goal scorer. I didn't even know that. He's playing great. Basically for a bunch of prospects and a first and second round pick, along with a seventh pick. I thought this was a great trade for the Devils. They needed a little bit of an extra scoring punch in their top six. They're young, they're fast, and they just added another goal scorer. The Devils' question marks will always be in net, but they've enjoyed outscoring teams this year. I'm not sure if that's going to work in the playoffs, but Gil, what do you think of this trade?
Well, I think it's great. It adds more depth. The Devils are not like the Leafs. They don't have powerhouses. Yeah, they have the Hugheses and whatever, but he's having a great years this year. Now, to be a good player, you have to be consistent. So we'll see what happens next year. But with that being said, Timo Meyer will he fit in? That's another question. The Devils are a speedy team up front. Like you said, Hamilton's having a great season. I think it fit in. The goaltending, I was concerned at the beginning of the year, as we talked. But you know what? They've been pretty steady all year. I haven't seen them drop down. So, Vanacek and Blackwood are actually standing their head. So the Devils do have a chance. Will they win the cup? I don't think so. But they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, they're a nice young team, the Devils. Barbosa, this kind of caught me a little off guard, this trade. What do you think of this one?
Yes and no. I know the Devils were looking for somebody. It was just they had the right price to pay for Timo Meyer, right? There was a lot of teams interested in him. From what I was heard before the deal has happened, it was that Jersey was making a strong push for him. So it does help out Jack Hughes for sure. Because he's more of the playmaker. He's not really a goal scorer. So, like Gil said, yeah, let's see how he fits in with the team. But it's a good pickup for them. You needed a goal scorer and you got one, right? He's a proven goal scorer, so for sure.
Yeah, I think the Devils needed a sniper. Absolutely. I think they needed a sniper. They don't have like a guy that can really snipe the puck like Meyer.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good move for them.
Yeah, because
Devils
Jack
are
Hughes
young.
is more the playmaker. Jack Hughes is more like a Marner type of player. So they needed
even
somebody
just for
like that.
Bratt, he's more of a playmaker too.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of good checking players as well. Like the guy's name I can't pronounce. Uros Shavrganov. I can't say his name.
Yeah.
They've got some good pieces, the Devils. I think they just decided, hey, we might as well
Do you
go
think
for
they're
it.
done though, Gil? I'm throwing it to you because obviously you're the
Are they
Devil
done,
fan.
Gil? Good question. Are
Do
they
you
done?
think they're done? I think you still, I think you should still I think you should still booster up your D.
Well, you know what? The D's been consistent too, Tony. They've been steady. I don't know if they'll go for one more sniper. I don't know. It depends what's out there. But
There's
I
not
don't
much
think
left.
I don't think they're gonna risk. I
there's-
don't think the Devil. I think they're gonna stay put and they're just gonna go with what they got and go for the run.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty solid. Like they got three solid lines. Dawson Mercer's played great for them on defense too. Like sorry, he's a forward. They're pretty solid, the Devils. They're just young. So that's the team that nobody knows what to expect. And I think they're locked into playing the Rangers right now in the first round. And we're just about to talk about the Rangers. So here we go, Gil. This is your opponent. Let's talk about the Rangers. The Rangers made two moves. They traded for Tarasenko before the O'Reilly move. We didn't discuss that, but they made a move for Tarasenko. But the big one was trading for Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks. The price for this trade shocked me. They only gave up a conditional second-round pick and a fourth pick. If that trade was available to the Leafs, they should have made that trade. But let's not talk about that. They may have asked for more from Toronto, and they may have had to panic here and trade for less, as we'll talk about with Jacob Chychrun later on. But to me, this is an absolute steal for the Rangers, a proven Conn Smythe goal scorer for a team that has trouble scoring goals. Gil, this is the likely opponent for your Devils. are you in trouble playing the Rangers that are absolutely loaded with a great goaltender?
Absolutely. Even last year, I said, I think, I if I'm not remember correctly, I picked the Rangers as a dark horse to win the cup. And I think I said it to you when the season ended. I said, watch out for this Ranger team.
Yeah,
And now they got even better. Um, Good players have to fit in. I've seen a lot of good players go to teams and they stumble and they just don't adapt to the team. So if I don't know, like they have a lot of great players there. They were doing well without him. Do they really need them? Let's just hope he comes there thinking he's a piece to help, not to say the Rangers is his team now. Like, he's the guy. He shouldn't go there as he's the guy. He should go there. I'm the piece to the puzzle to win the cup. Their goaltending's been great. I really hope they fall and the Islanders overhop them, so I don't have to see that team in the first round. That's. I'll be honest with
yeah,
that.
yeah. Um, yeah. The reason why the Rangers made these moves is because their young players have failed them. Capo Caco and Lafreniere have failed.
Yeah, they have.
And so they desperately needed some scoring that was not those two guys, and that's why you got Tarasenko and Kane. Barbosa, what
The
do you
only
think of this
reason,
steal?
okay, the only reason why New York got Kane is because he wanted to go there. That's the only
True.
team he wanted to go there. So if he fell in his lap, and the Rangers could have gave him a seventh rounder, they still would have made the deal because he didn't want to be in Chicago. Well, first of all, he wanted to stay in Chicago, but Chicago was like, "Nah, we don't need you now. We want to get rid of the money. Let's get something for him." And the Rangers were the only team, so that's why they only got a second and a fourth round pick. So any other
Yeah,
team could have given whatever, and they still wouldn't get Patrick Kane because he had the final say. So
yeah.
that's out of the question. Now, as far as him fitting in with the Rangers, you remember he played with Panarin in Chicago. So
Yes.
let's
Yes.
not forget about that. They
Yeah.
had good chemistry in Chicago.
Yeah.
Um, they're older now, they're not as young as they used to be. I'm sure they're not as fast as they used to be. So we'll see how it works out. And Tarasenko, listen, he's a bit of injury prone, so you don't know what you're gonna get with Tarasenko. Do I
He had
think,
a great game today, just so you guys know he had 3 points today.
yeah, if he stays in the lineup, sure, they're a good team.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, Obviously, Shesterkin's probably the best or the second best goalie in the world, so it's between him and Vasilevsky. So and they made it, and
Yeah.
they made the conference final last year. So
Yeah.
with the team that they
Yeah.
had, so we'll see how that works out.
The East
Um,
is loaded. The East is
yeah,
absolutely loaded. Yeah.
the East got loaded. So we'll see. Well, just hope Carolina falls or the Rangers hop over Carolina and you guys play Carolina. I think that's an easier matchup for you. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's an easier matchup for the Devils for sure.
So I don't know.
Carolina is such a
I don't
good
know.
team too.
They're manhandling Colorado right now. So
Are they? Is
like,
is who you Harvey playing tonight or no?
sorry.
Puliarvi, I'm not sure. I didn't put that trade down because I didn't think it was a significant trade, but I don't think he's playing tonight.
Yeah,
But they also
it's
got
significant.
Gostisper from Arizona.
Yeah, it's significant. I'll tell you why, because he's played with Aho.
Yes,
They're
yes.
very familiar with each other, so that's a thing to look out for also over there in Carolina. So we'll see what
Okay,
that shapes up to.
so we're gonna do the Leafs soon, but we're gonna talk about Tampa Bay, who the Leafs will likely play in the first round. They made a move for Tanner Genot, for Cal Foot, a conditional first, and five picks in 2003 and 2004. This was a strange one. Tanner Genot had a good year last year. He scored 24 goals, but he struggled this year. But Tampa Bay has made these moves before, and it's always paid off. So I'm not about to question Tampa Bay. They did this with Nick Paul last year, who single-handedly beat the Leafs in Game 7. So I'm not about to question any of their moves because they've all worked out. But what do you think of this move? This is one of those low-key moves Tampa Bay does, and it always seems to work out. Gil?
Yeah, same thing. When we always talk about these trades, it's all about fit and it's all about what they want. Tampa's gonna play the Leafs first round, looks like. Um, you know what? And the way the hockey been, it looked Tony, it looks like you're gonna be meeting Tampa Bay for the next 7 years. And
Yeah,
Boston all's coming first. So it's gonna be like a pure rivalry there with Tampa Bay with you guys. But I don't know, Tampa Bay always goes far, but I think they're slowing down.
Yeah,
I think they're slowing down. I think Toronto will probably beat them in the series. Um, I think Toronto's quicker. I just feel like Tampa's is dying out a bit. Vasilevsky's not what he was. Is it a good move for Tampa? I don't know. I don't really think it makes a difference for Tampa. I don't think it's really helping them.
uh, Barbosa.
yeah, it's a typical Tampa Bay move. I think they gave up too much for that type of
Yeah,
player. If you ask me, way too
absolutely.
much, way
Yeah,
too much.
yeah. I thought they gave up too
But
much.
whatever, it's Tampa Bay. And like you said, nobody's going to question because it's Tampa. It's your typical Tampa Bay move. It's their bottom six forwards. They always look to get something a little bit quicker, um, a little bit more speed, a little bit for checking. Um, obviously, it's. I don't think it's a move that they did because the Leafs made it, but obviously, I think they
No,
kind
no.
of pushed a little bit. Um, maybe that might have pushed a couple extra picks in it to get it, uh, but anyway, it's a move that Tampa always does at the deadline. So yeah, it's a good move for them. I just think they
Yeah,
gave up way too much, way too
yeah.
much.
Tampa has made a habit of giving up first round picks for players, and they've all worked out. Like it's kind of amazing their track record, the trade deadline, how good it's been. Even when I've questioned the moves, they've always worked out. So listen, I thought they gave up too much, but I'm not about to question them. I do agree with Gil though. They seem to have slowed down. Their defense is not as good as it was. Vasilevsky is not dominant, but in the playoffs he's always dangerous. And they're getting older, so if there's ever an opportunity for the Leafs to beat this team, it's going to be this year. But we'll get to the Leafs trades to see if they can accomplish that goal. Now, there's a bunch of trades. I'm just going to name them all off, and then I'll let you guys comment on them. So it started with um, the 27th. The Leafs traded for Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty, and basically gave up Joey Anderson and Pavel Gogolev, along with a first and second pick. That was the first move. Then in a move that was related to Jake McCabe, they traded Ramses Sandin to the Capitals for a first round pick and Eric Gustafson. So
Which is Boston's first round pick, which is
which is
Boston's from
Boston's
the
first
Orlov
round
Trail.
pick. Right.
Yeah,
So they basically replaced Sandin with McCabe. McCabe is
yeah,
tougher. So that was clearly a move made for the playoffs. Then they got rid of Engvall for a third round pick. I thought that was a great trade because Engvall, I didn't think they ever get a third round pick for Engvall. They had the Islanders keep all the salary, so I thought that was a good move. And then they got Luke Shen from the Canucks for a third round pick, which is what they got from the
which
Islanders.
is
So
the
that makes
Islanders.
sense. And then so that those were the moves after the O'Reilly move. Now, if you ask me, this was a move made to replace Sandin. The only player that they have on their team they could get something for is Sandin. I think they're stuck with Hall. I think they're stuck with the nine defensemen they have, and this is a depth move to battle for spots. Eric Gustafson is probably not going to play very much for Toronto, and Luke Shen is a seventh defenseman. So the move was McCabe. McCabe has been actually quite good in Chicago this year for a bad team. He's plus 10. He can hit, he can block shots. So that's the right move if you want to change your defense into a more playoff ready defense. Sandin was a player that they were not going to play in the playoffs and were not going to keep. And so Dubas acted quickly to get something for him. No problem with that either. The question is, are the Leafs significantly better today than they were before these moves? Ryan O'Reilly's a good player. Yes, he improves their team. He's struggled this year. Is McCabe a better defenseman to play in the playoffs than Sandin? Absolutely. How much better are they? Is the question, Barbos.
Significantly better. I'll tell you why. Okay, we're looking obviously at the bigger moves, O'Reilly, McCabe. Uh, yeah, you know, but O'Reilly is the playoffs. You know, how much as he struggles during the regular season. When they went in the cup run, when St. Louis went in the cup run, O'Reilly wasn't having a great year either. But guess what? Came to the playoffs. O'Reilly won the Conn Smythe for that year for St. Louis.
Yeah.
And McCabe is a guy that the Leafs desperately needed a defenseman like him. Guys that
Yep.
can move players in front of the net, block shots. Even Luke Shen. Luke Shen is a player like that. Is a player that a defenseman that the Leafs needed to also. Like it's another guy, move players from in front of the net, let the goalie see the puck, block shots, tough to play against. But the key is for Cherry and
Lafferty.
Lafferty
Yeah.
from Chicago. That fourth line now is gonna be a fourth line to be reckoned with those two and with Aston Reeves. I believe that's going to be a very tough line to play against, and that's what they've had problems with against Tampa Bay in the past and against other teams. Is those bottom six forwards? They've had problems playing those teams. So it's nice, and you see that Dubas is changing his philosophy and how he builds a team because it was always about analytics. But now he's seeing
Speed
that
and
in the
skill.
playoffs, you need to beef up your team. You need players that can players that that have the will to win. That's why I think Engvall got out. He's an okay player, but when it comes to the playoffs, the guy's a ghost. You don't see him on the ice. And Sandin, unfortunately, I like him, but he wanted more playing time and he wanted more money, so that's why it was time for him to get rid of him. They got good value, which was a good trade. So they are much better. But like I said, going down the stretch is not going to mean nothing. You'll see the team that we're going to see is in the playoffs. That's where you're going to see the results.
I'm gonna let Gil comment on this in a second. I actually have zero problem. Like a lot of people know that I'm not a fan of Dubas, but I actually have zero problems with any of these moves. Dubas, his job is on the line. He does not have a contract for next year. He had to go for it. He had to make these moves. I actually have no problem with any of these moves. My issue with these moves is the Leafs, to me, needed, as Gil pointed out, a number one defenseman. They don't have one. Their goaltending is very questionable. Samsonov is showing fatigue, and Matt Murray's been hurt all year. And so I still have questions in those areas. Gil, you tell me what you think.
Well, it's exactly what I was gonna say. You were gonna say Dubas. To me, the trades, are they great? Do they help? Number one, a playoff team, you need to be physical. The McCabe thing, I like. I like the McCabe thing. I think the Leafs needed, it's all fancy dancy in hands. That's all you guys have. You guys got to get some physicality in there. I like the McCabe move. I still feel he should have went out and probably try to get. I'm just gonna name names here, but I'm not saying if it's possible. It could have been Chikrin. They could have go get a Doughty, Andrew Pietrangelo, something like that. They need a guy like that.
You got to remember that the problem is they're too tied up with the salary cap. They're up against the salary cap. That's why you can't make those trades. It's tough to make those trades. Don't get me wrong. I would wish they wanted. They have the assets to get
he doesn't want to trade anyone off the roster. Yeah.
They have the assets, but the problem is it's the money. They have way too much money tied up in players. So that's why. But there's still more players available from what I hear. So we'll see. I don't think the Leafs are done. So
we'll see.
So go ahead, Gil.
I agree with Andrew as well. Like goaltending is huge for the playoffs.
100%.
Not that they're playing horrible, but it will be a question mark for you guys.
For sure.
Is Samsonov gonna be going like hot, cold? I don't know. Like you don't know what you're gonna get out of that guy. And Matt Murray, like you said, he's injured as well. So the Leafs are gonna have to score some goals, stay out of the box in the penalty in the playoffs. But I still think they're going to play Tampa. It looks like they are, and I think. But the trades himself, O'Reilly, he's going to help in the face-off. He's a veteran. He's been there before. But guys, at the end of the day, it's all about Matthews, Martin, and Nylander here.
Correct. 100%. They have to show up. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
not about the
listen,
bottom six. It's about
but
those
but
guys.
last year, they showed up in the playoffs,
They did.
for the exception of Nylander. The Leafs lost because they didn't score any power play goals when it came down to the game six, game seven, no power play goals, and a little and some defensive collapses. So that's why these
Well,
moves these moves kind of helped out a little bit on that.
Well, here's the thing, Barbosa. The difference last year was Vasilevsky showed up in the last 3 games. And so
Yeah,
at the end of the day, no matter how Vasilevsky looks in the regular season, he's probably one of the best playoff goalies of all time. And so
100%.
whether if he shows up, it's going to be tough no matter what. And so that's where they are. And then but you have Boston, who has a goalie that might set NHL records for being the best goalie ever. And I can't believe I'm
But
saying
have
that
we
about
seen?
Linus Allmark.
Here it goes. We talk about Allmark and all that. Have we seen this guy in the playoffs before?
No, that's a good Boston. Yes,
Right.
that's a good
So
point. But they
everybody
play
talks
with a
about
system over
Boston,
there.
Boston, Boston, but their goalies haven't. I don't think they have any playoff experience.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep.
That's also going to be a storyline going into the playoffs with Boston.
So
So
I'm going to
we'll
mention
see.
2 more moves. The first one was Ottawa making a great move, in my opinion, because they need defense, this team. They got Jacob Chikrin from Arizona for a first-round pick and 2 seconds. That is way below what Arizona wanted. I think what happened there is they benched him for 3 weeks. They had no suitors for what they wanted, and Ottawa swept in and got him. Great move for Ottawa. They really needed defense. I'm sure we can all agree
The,
that that was a great move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the knock on Chikrin is he gets injured. He's injury prone.
Yes,
So that that's
100%.
that's a
Yep.
lot. That's why I think a few teams got scared.
Yeah. But
From him.
Ottawa getting
Is
rid of Zaitsev's contract and then getting Chikrin is a
Yeah,
stroke of genius.
you
That's a
knew you
genius
knew
move.
that something was
Right.
up because in the
Yeah.
offseason they were also after him. That's the
Yeah.
defenseman that they wanted, but at the time they wanted way too much. So
Yeah.
Ottawa did their work and obviously they had the assets,
Yeah.
the right, I guess, enough
Yeah.
assets for Arizona to take.
Good move for Ottawa, Gil.
Yeah, absolutely. Their playoff run, I think what are they, 5 points behind the Penguins for that last wild card? Am I
Are they
correct there?
that
Yeah,
close? Jeez.
they're in the
Wow, they're
hunt.
still there, eh? Wow,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
So
Yeah.
I believe Pittsburgh has 69, if I believe, and Ottawa I think
Yes,
has
69.
64.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
Ottawa has
Yeah.
64. So they're in that hunt. Detroit's in the hunt. Washington's in the hunt. As we know, Philadelphia, Montreal, and Columbus are pretty much out.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
surprising for me is also Buffalo. Buffalo's in the hunt there as well,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
surprising
They're
for
there. Yep.
which to me, that out of all the teams, that was the biggest surprise for me, was Buffalo still in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ottawa need to do something. They're 5 points away out of the playoffs to get the run. Like even a lot of
Yeah.
people expect Ottawa to even be in the hunt,
Yeah.
No.
right? They're going
Yeah.
to be in the draft trying to get the first overall.
Right.
But there they are right there. And, even their goaltending, like they've been bouncing like, what, 5-4 goalies all year.
Talbot
And
and I don't know. They got Talbot and a couple other guys. Yeah.
yeah, like I think they've been playing with 4 or 5 goalies. So
Yeah.
good for them. But yeah, they had to make a move. They made it perfect. I think it was perfect for Ottawa.
So I got one more trade, which I'm not even going to spend too much time on. We got about 4 minutes. The Penguins, who to me are just a disaster waiting to happen. They're really old. They made a move and they got Michael Granlund from Nashville for a second-round pick after dumping Brock McGinn and Kasperi Kapanen overboard. This move does nothing for me. The Penguins are old. Crosby's going to have to carry them. They need Jari to stay healthy. Their defense is terrible. I don't have much hope for them, especially if they have to play Boston in the first round. It's going to be a quick series. Does this do anything for you, Barbosa?
Um, he's not a bad player.
No,
I
he
don't
just
think, but
doesn't
I
move
don't
the
think
needle
if
for
he
me.
moves the needle over there. But keep your eye on JT Miller.
Oh
Um,
wow,
I've heard rumors, maybe JT Miller going to the Penguins. So,
he makes too much
um,
money though. I don't think they can do it salary wise.
obviously they're gonna have to ship somebody out. But
Yeah,
I've heard, I've been hearing people talking about about JT Miller to Pittsburgh. But like I said, like it's Andrew, you're correct. Pittsburgh's old, getting older. Um, yeah, he's a decent player.
Injuries.
He's not gonna move the
Yeah,
needle that much.
right.
So yeah.
Gil?
Well, they're trying to hang in there on that last spot. He'll add some depth to the team. He's a quick player. He skates well. He defends well. I think that's what they're looking into is his dump and chase and physicality and skate quick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This might be the last, probably last Pittsburgh's gonna be in the playoffs for a while. I think
Yeah.
don't be surprised if even Crosby leaves. They might
Yeah,
go
he's
into a
got 1 year
whole
left. Yeah.
he might go into a whole rebuilding stage here, or they keep Crosby and they build around them with young kids. But is he really gonna want to stay like for that? I don't know. I don't
Well,
think
it's too
so.
late for that now. They re-signed all the old guys. It's too late to rebuild now.
I,
So
I
they're
don't
stuck
see
with these
I don't see
guys.
Crosby. I don't see Crosby being a guy that he's gonna leave and to go to another team. I
Well,
think he's too loyal.
Gretzky did leave the Oilers went to LA, and then he bounced to St. Louis, and then he bounced to the Rangers.
Well,
Well, Gretzky got
but
sold.
Pittsburgh,
Gretzky got
but
sold.
Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's got the reputation of hanging on to their players. They could have
Yeah.
gotten away with. They got to get rid of Lemieux, but they never did. He
Yeah.
stayed there until
Yeah.
the end. So
So
they're loyal
that's
to their players.
so that's the trades that we want to discuss. A crazy trade deadline. As you can tell, I have no hope for my team, but it looks a lot better for the Leafs and the Devils. Jose somewhere sleeping. I would have loved to have heard from him, but he's not here. But that's our show for this week. I'm the Mouth of North Andrew East. That's Tony Barbosa and Gil Santos. Let us know what you think. Give us your comments. Give us what you think of all these trades. And we will see you next time on the Reese Report.